First thing that we did this week was get ourselves organised. So we created the assessment folders that you see here, which will be used to store your assignment work. We then reflected on what grades you achieved last year and had a look at what you need to do this year to be able to get the target grade that you desire. We also reflected on last year in terms of what we did well and what we didn't, and picked 3 things that we'd like to focus on improving this academic year. We then discussed the different units that you will be studying on your different courses. So everybody, whether you're in a diploma group or a subdiploma, you are studying Unit 16, HR Management, and Unit 29, Understanding Retail. If you are doing a 2A level equivalent diploma, your final unit will be Unit 37, Business Ethics, and if you are studying a subdiploma, a 1A level equivalent, then your final unit for the year will be Unit 3, Marketing. We familiarised ourselves with the curriculum map for Unit 16 so that we understand what skills we're developing in this unit, when the assessment deadlines are, what the key questions and purpose of the unit are, and a quick overview of the theory involved in the unit as a whole. We then familiarised ourselves with Padlet, especially for those that haven't used it before, and began to have a think about the organisation that is going to be the focus of our study for Unit 16, which is Whitbread PLC. Individually, you were given a research question, which you then presented back to the group in the form of an ideas wall or ideation board. Some of you did an excellent job of presenting your information back, however some of you do need to think a little bit more carefully about your public speaking skills in terms of projecting your voice and making sure that you don't speak too quickly. Overall, I was quite impressed with how you managed to retrieve the data that you needed. It's not easy digging through those annual reports. Everybody got an answer for their question, so well done. And everybody did present back, so all in all, it was good. We then learned how to reference our work properly in Word. So this is really useful for anybody going on to university studies. It will save you an awful lot of time if you can reference properly. It also builds a bibliography for you. So that is part of developing our academic writing skills and organisation. In our second lesson, we started having a think about P1, which is the first criteria of the first assignment of Unit 16. We had a quick discussion about what the command verb describe really means, and also the nature of this criteria and the fact that it has to be applied to Whitbread PLC. There are lots of different internal and external factors that will influence the way an organisation manages its human resources. So to make it a little bit easier for everybody, we decided to designate specialists for particular internal and external factors. So in your teams, you were given one internal factor and one external factor to investigate, which you will then be presenting back to the group in the form of a PowerPoint presentation. So in terms of meeting this week's objectives, I think we have satisfied the 2 things that we set out to do. You now have an understanding of what you're going to be studying with me, how BTEC works, how it's assessed, what my expectations are, what our expectations are as a class as a whole through setting our classroom mantra, and also you've got all your files and paperwork and things that you need organised for when you first start submitting assessments. In terms of getting an understanding of Whitbread PLC, I think you've all done an excellent job of digging into that annual report to get the key information that you need. We will be taking part in a little Kahoot quiz just as a bit of fun to test how much of that information you've retained. And going around the room, I've seen some fabulous introductions that are well thought through and structured and properly referenced, so well done on that. In terms of getting prepared for the week ahead, I would recommend that you go to the Getting Organised section on your main Padlet dashboard. In there I've put a document, one for diploma students, one for subdiploma students, and it gives you an outline of how you should set up your storage folders per unit. I would get that organised and set up sooner rather than later, and then it means when the work's complete you can just drag and drop it into the appropriate folder. Really looking forward to the trip on Tuesday the 17th of September. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you use the link in your emails to book onto the talks that you would like to attend for session 1 and session 2. You must attend both sessions and it's up to you which talks you want to go to. So next week, week 2, our objectives are to deliver the presentations that we've created on the internal and external factors. Once we've shared that back to the rest of the group, we're then going to use each other's information to consolidate our understanding of internal and external factors and have a discussion about how we might turn that information into an essay to give us evidence for P1. So lesson 1 is going to be about creating the presentation. Lesson 2, we will be presenting the presentations, and lesson 3, we will be thinking about how we can use that information to create the P1 evidence.